Hey guys,
Hi, I'm Stefanie Campbell.
and I'm Kelly Dugan.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just curious on the ins and outs of the real estate world, you've come to the right place.
What are we going to talk about on this podcast?
Everything, duh.
You name it, we cover it.
Tune in weekly as we bring you insightful conversations with industry experts, success stories, horror stories, and definitely some laughs along the way.
Welcome in.
You can hear me, right?
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
What's up?
Oh, nada. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. It was uneventful. My kids were wild maniacs. We were at Kaylin's house, actually.
We have to still get Kaylin on here.
We could do that. We could arrange that.
Shout out to Kaylin Goldstein.
What's up, girl? And like, they have a daughter and I have two boys. And like, if that was situation was not the epitome of like children of like boy children versus girl children, it was.
I know. I saw your story and it was like, what did it say? Like savage number 1, savage number 2, and then just sweetheart.
It was like so. I feel like she was like staring at them, like, what are these creatures?
Probably.
And again, I've seen Wild Girls, so I'm not saying that they don't exist. I think there's something about the sibling energy level, like that sibling energy when there's two of the same sex.
Well, my sister has one
Right.
girl and my other sister has 2 boys. And yeah, like there is a difference between like just the rowdiness. I mean, I can sit on when Brooklyn was Declan's age, I could sit on the floor with Brooklyn and play, just the most innocent game of makeup or dress
And
up
I
and
can't
anything.
wait
and
to,
Declan
like-
wants to like wrestle me.
This is like jumping right back into real estate, but I can't wait to chat about the new news and like what.
Oh yeah, we literally, this is so premature we're even talking about it, but we could just say what it is and we can say real details later.
We're just gonna call it partnership because we don't know the details.
We have a partnership with Compass,
what?
which honestly, Compass is a great brand. I'm not mad about it at all.
No, I mean it's just very. I can't wait to.
Compass was actually the brokerage that I was planning on April Foolsing you that I was leaving you because I knew that was the only brokerage that honestly could kind of like
compete
with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I knew it would be most believable. That was going to be my thing. I was going to.
I am like
Frank,
floored. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. We have a company Zoom to discuss it, but at Properties / Kirsty's International with Compass, like what is happening? This is big news in the real estate world.
Big news. I'm going to take my mic off. I feel like I'm always leaning.
Oh, I know. I am leaning too.
We do something new.
We could do the arms. Maybe we're going to do that next time.
I haven't showed you yet, but I did buy cordless mics just in case we ever get crazy. They're in my bag right now.
Wow.
Was
it a Black Friday deal or what's happening?
No, I've had them for a couple
Go
weeks.
like this. You have almonds. She has almonds. The
almonds
only food we have in this office is almonds. And we like ate the whole bag. They were on the other, that side. Okay, real quick. This podcast is going to be a shorty because it has to be. But we were going to talk about, I get people all the like I can hear the mic when you like.
All right, well, I'm trying to get this out of my tooth.
Oh my God, right on TV. And I think our screen's crooked. This is like a real haphazard podcast day. Okay, so what I was going to say is that we were going to talk about quickly. I keep getting people talking to me about, oh, I'm just going to sell my house as is. And I'm like.
I feel like that's always something that every seller says, like right from the get. Are you still looking at my tooth? Is it still in there?
I want to help you. Dude, it was like right in the front. Oh, it's gone.
Okay.
Thank God. So do we start over?
No. Keep going. Still there?
No, it's not
Okay.
there, but it gets a lot.
All right.
Okay. So back to business focus is every seller to me is like, oh, let's just sell our house as is. And I'm like, my opinion. You can chime in there.
Oh, I will. I'm just waiting for yours.
Okay. My opinion is that you should not, unless you have to, if you have some weird circumstance, do not advertise your home as is sale up front. I just think if you can help it, don't, because I think
it causes unnecessary red flags.
Yes.
A, and B, it better be priced accordingly
you
if you're
agree-
going to put it up
You
there.
agree with me?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
okay.
if you're going to put it out there as is, it needs to be priced. You can't be at top market value and say, nope, as is. Like, it all kind of has to make sense. And I do think that you're off the get, like, pointing out, even if nothing's wrong with your house, I think it raises red flags. Well, why are they selling as is? Oh, well, because the seller is they don't want to do anything. Well, I kind of want to say back to that, like, well, no shit. I mean, no one wants to do it. Like, no one wants to do that, but you're honestly, I think that you're kind of causing a little bit of ruffles from the start that are unnecessary.
And I mean, obviously I educate my buyers and I say, listen, odds are this seller, they were just lazy and
Yeah.
their neighbor told them to sell their house as is because they could these days. And so that's what they marketed it as. It doesn't mean anything, but a 90%, like, I'm not on the other deal. I don't know how many rodeos this other agent's been to. For all I know what buyers think when buyers read an as-is sale. Like you said, red flags automatically go up. They think there's things wrong with the property, and then you're making your price sacrifice. I'd rather not advertise it as is. I'd rather just put it up for sale, hope you get multiple offers, and then you're going to sell your home as is regardless, because
that's the first thing.
99.99999% of the time, if there's multiple offers, majority of those offers are going to be as is contracts, because everybody knows as is doesn't really mean as is.
Well, right. And that's another thing I was going to bring up too. And I talk about with my sellers is, okay, let's just say that we secure an as is buyer, just so we know and that we don't have any hidden surprises. They will still do an inspection, and they still very well could come back with items that they want repaired or credited. As is, I know we've said this before, it speaks to intention. It's basically saying, with my naked eye, when I went to my 20-minute showing, I don't think I'm going to ask for anything. But when the inspector gets in there behind the walls, if something comes up that no one anticipated, or if it's something big enough to where it could be a deal breaker for the buyers, they have every right to bring that to the attorney. So it almost makes you want to go back to the seller and be like all of these you can't make those types of decisions like right from you almost just have to see what happens in a way. And if you price accordingly and you draw in multiple offers and you have the luxury of cherry picking the best offer that's doing as is, doing all that, chances are that buyer is going to act right during attorney review, because they know that there's backups. They know that there were multiple offers. But if you're just holding out at the highest price possible and you are super stern with as is, and the buyer comes in and is like, they want your house, they know that there's no competition, they know that you're the only buyer, what makes you think they're not going to initial as is and then completely go back on it after inspection?
And it's a great, like, all these inspectors are not all created equal. And it's amazing to me how some inspectors make such a big deal about something that is their opinion. And I get to, like, especially in the city when I'm on a deal, like, both agents are always at the inspection.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
It's very, like, I get to see a lot of different inspectors at work. You know, when you're on the buy side, you're only seeing your inspector, so you get used to what they say, and you pick a good inspector, so you're used to good inspectors.
Right.
But the amount of people, like, especially even looking at new construction homes, like when I'm on the list side, these inspectors that they bring in, I'm like, just because that's how you think your way is the best way, it's not the only way. Like, some of these things these inspectors call out and dramatize, I'm like, it's like a pissing contest. They just love to mark their territory and prove their worth and, like, pretend that their way was the best way.
And you're paying an
and then
inspector
they're scaring the buyer.
Yeah,
it's
you're
so
paying
ridiculous.
You're paying an inspector to literally find bad things about the house, so they're going to deliver. And there's some inspectors that go about it in a way, and even like the inspector that I've been using lately, Mike, he always says it perfectly. He's like, you're having me come in here to basically point out all of the things, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what inspectors do, is they find things, whether or not they're detrimental and big and they mean a lot to you. Is basically like he's so neutral. Like, he gives the facts and he answers the questions, and usually we'll have a resource as to, like, oh, how much would it be to get this fixed, and has an idea. But it's never like, oh my gosh, you need to run the other way. And if there is something that pops up during inspection where you do need to run the other way, we have all of the info at hand. Like, I don't think that the opinions of a home inspector of like isn't it illegal for them to say, like, no, you should walk away?
Probably.
I think it's illegal for inspectors to basically say, like, and I've asked him before, like, am I a bad realtor if I let my clients buy this house? Because there was one time a foundation thing. he's like, no, not if you get an engineer out there to make sure everything is sound, because he admittingly said that he wasn't aware if this was detrimental. He said it looked weird and he'd never seen it before. There was some sort of additional support in the crawl that was just, big question mark over it. So we did our due diligence and called an actual professional, an engineer, to come in and see what's going on there, a structural engineer, and it ended up being just additional support that really didn't matter if it was there or not.
Yeah.
But of course that was something like, oh, well, what's this big post doing down here that's not supposed to be here? Like all those things came up.
And imagine if he dramatized that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It was, remember that Gabe remember Gabe from Frankfurt? He was a structural engineer. You gave me his contact info.
Okay.
But yeah, so I would say as is, take with a grain of salt, honestly, when you're on the buy side and the list side. And if we're talking about as is while we're at it.
On the list side too, take it with a grain of salt. Let's just say it again.
As on the list side, obviously mine and Stephanie's opinion is to not advertise and market your house as is, because again,
preemptively. I mean, again, if it's an estate sale or something and you guys don't care, great.
Or if there is something major wrong with it and we disclose it. Like, hey, there's a mold problem, as is. Hey, there's a foundation issue, as is. If it's priced accordingly for that issue.
God, I do not want to advertise a mold issue as is.
Well, no, but if someone called you to sell a house that was like, look, this house we've let run down, we haven't lived there for 10 years, I think there's a bunch of stuff wrong with it. What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Not going to sell it?
No, I'm not going to say. I'm going to say there's some green stuff. I don't know if it's mold or not because I didn't test it. So
yeah,
well, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
And there's some things that I've had to like sign. Have you ever taken a client on a showing that they make you sign some sort of like waiver that if you get hurt or if there's anything? This was like years ago when I was looking at with my investors. Like we had to sign something. So there was like holes in the floor, there was mold, everything, and we literally had to like sign something.
Reminds me of the early days with Ricky Campbell.
Oh gosh, why? The properties you guys went in? Some of these
properties I wouldn't even go inside. I wouldn't go in.
Thankfully, my investors, shout out to Joey and Mike, they're friends of mine. So there's been times where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going down there. Like, here's my flashlight.
Absolutely not.
Feel free.
Okay.
But yeah, so and then as is also on the buy side.
Go.
I know I got to plug this really quick though, because this is something I wanted to say.
Plug.
When I have conversations with buyers about, hey, if let's say we're in a competitive situation, Stephanie and I have said before, one of the most low risk things to say is that you'll take the house as is. It helps you win, makes it more appealing. In the same breath, which I need to start making more like affirmative, that doesn't like, it's not just like a golden ticket through the door. Like we kind of still have to act right, especially if nothing big is wrong.
100%.
I've had clients that would like agree. They would sell their limbs for this house before our offer got accepted, as is. Do this, do that, and then once they kind of feel like that, we got the sellers locked in and we had the inspection and everything like that. They're like, well, this little, and it's like, okay, guys, like let's go back to square one. We have they have backup offers on the table. It's not too late for them to cancel us.
The flip flopping of the minds is just bananas. Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to take a property as is, be mindful of that through the whole thing.
This is what I always tell my clients. Always say that during attorney review, either party can cancel the contract. It is in everybody's best interest to be on their best honest behavior. Because
refer back to our podcast, Don't Kill the Vibe.
Don't kill the vibe. Because I will say, there is nothing more sad than when a buyer gets a little bit arrogant and oversteps. I say only ask for things that is worth canceling the deal over.
Yep.
Because your request can change the contract, change the vibe, and the seller can cancel on you. If it's worth it to you, if you're going to walk away from this property because the attic is riddled with mold, let's just say, then of course ask for it. But if you are not willing to cancel the property, then there is a way for me to maybe have a casual conversation with the listing agent and see what they're open to without just like blurping that over through the attorneys. And
yeah, that just happened to me because my clients weren't using my attorney and there was like a laundry list of things that I was unaware of on an as-is contract. So that was out of my control, clearly. But just to give you a little bit of insight from the other side, there have been times that my buyers have lost out on multiple offers, and I will continue to follow up with that listing agent while they're in attorney review with other buyers and just make sure everything is good. So the moment that buyer who said they would do as is, they start acting funny and they start requesting, GFCI outlets or just, stupid things, they very well could have an agent in their other ear saying like, hey, first thing that goes wrong, let me know. My buyers are still obsessed with the house. They're ready. Like, you just never know. That's how quick it can happen. And then before you know it, we get a cancellation letter from their attorney and they're already under contract with those other people that were in their ear.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Everyone behave.
Yeah. All right. We got to get to craft night.
Yeah. Very busy night. Well, we might be back. We might squeeze in another one.
All right. Well, have a good night, guys. Bye.
Toodles. Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Tune in weekly for new episodes.
Follow the link in the show notes to answer our survey and have your topics talked about on Realtor Talk with Steph and Kel. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Bye. Ciao.